I recorded a video the other day about perimenopause and the fact that it's 50 days, maybe it's 49 now, until I turn 50, turning 50 this year, which is blowing my mind. And I wanted just to give like a few little follow-up pieces to what I had said, because one of the things that I said in the video is that I'm on the other side. I am not on the other side of the entire perimenopause journey. It's just that I finally am on like the right set of everything to get my levels where they need to be, which is such an amazing feeling. I recently set up a new home here in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and after 3 years of just insane travel, like really, really fast travel, full time with no base. And so I am just so much healthier than I even was like 6 months ago, because now I'm working with a doctor to get my levels where they need to be. I'm taking supplements on the regular, every single day, and just all these little pieces. I'm so grateful to have this doctor that I'm working with to get these levels where they need to be. So a lot of people have messaged saying that they haven't been able to find a doctor that understands them, that is able to empathize. Some people have said they haven't had any symptoms at all. And then I know other friends who have had their lives like completely debilitated and, have thankfully found their way to a solution over time. But it takes time to like dial in the right measurements of everything. And not everyone, it's not going to work for everyone, obviously, to even be on HRT for whatever reason, right? Like I have a friend who gets migraines, and therefore when she was trying it, like it wasn't working, or maybe you have other medications that it's going to interact with. But I am the hugest fan. So I wanted just to share what my journey has been for any of you that this will help. And I mean, I don't even know really when it started, but I would probably say, if I had to guess, I guess I was probably around like 46 or 47. And the first signs, I mean, besides just being like cranky, like you feel like you're a teenager again, that's just like pissed at everybody and everything. But then I noticed some of my like levels in my body changing, in terms of, I don't know, like almost like chemically in my body, things changing, and having to do with my cycle, and having to do with like body odor, and like all these really fascinating things. But then more acutely, having like night sweats or hot flashes. Like I said in my video on Instagram, I just really never thought that was going to happen to me. Like I think I thought I was going to get out of it, get away with it. But no such luck. And when I started having those like night sweats, which wake you up in the middle of the night, and it's just, it like a hot flash in the middle of the night, you have to tear all your covers off, and then you wake up freezing cold and you have to put them back on again, and it just disrupts your sleep, right? And that's maybe even in addition to the 3 a.m. wake ups where you can't go back to sleep. But those were just happening for me at night for a long time. And I started taking a supplement that you can find on Amazon or iHerb if you are in another part of the world. And it's called Estroven. And Estroven has like a multi-symptom, and it's technically a rhubarb extract, which is really interesting. It's like all natural. And that worked for me. It totally took, like, just like it says on the label, it takes about 30 days to kick in, kind of like melatonin would or something like that. But once it started kicking in, it really, really helped those like night sweat, hot flashes. And what's so funny too is that I remember being like thinking about how I knew, like my coach a long time ago, who is older than me, she would have hot flashes like in our sessions. And I remember thinking like, gosh, I guess I'm just never going to get them in the daylight. I'll always just only get them at night or something, right? And then, so I took estrogen, that helped for like a year. And then this is I would say like last August, September, about 6 months ago-ish, I hit this time where that supplement was just not working anymore. Like, I feel like I went 0 to 60 extreme levels of holy shit, where not only was I, regardless of me taking that supplement, I started getting way more hot flashes at night, like several. And then it added some during the day. And I was like, what the fuck? So once that started happening, like during the day, but then there was an added side effect, like an added symptom, a few, but I had experienced this like the summer prior, like when I got on, when it was really extreme, and I got on that estrogen around that time that it started hitting really hard. I had experienced this as well, which was like kind of like low levels of depression / anxiety, and I just, oh man, I was in such a tough way. And this is like, what's interesting is here I am traveling the world. I had backdrops of like Amsterdam and Rome and all these beautiful places, and I was just going through it. Like, it is such an invisible misery that, and also I just felt like I was just like everything was like crunchy. I just didn't even like anyone, and I didn't even really like myself. Like, that was the hardest part about it, is maybe because you don't recognize yourself. This is one of the biggest things I feel like I haven't heard many people speak about, is as you're going through this change and as you're getting older, at least this was my experience. I'm so curious to hear if you have felt this as well. I just like didn't even, I didn't even recognize myself. Like, I would look in the mirror, I'd see photos of myself, and I'd be like, who is that? And like almost this, like, I just didn't even like that person that I saw, not out of like a hating myself or not appreciating getting older, like none of that, but just a not, I don't know, like not recognizing myself, like not, and it's a deeper thing, right? It's like not just about the physical, but it is like just this feeling that you're having. So that was a huge part of it. I'm curious if you have felt that, where I just was like, oh, and I've noticed that kind of overall, it's really fascinating. Yeah, your relationship with yourself is changing, and it's really disorienting and vulnerable, and you feel really kind of alone in it, right? Because it's your relationship with yourself. So for all the self-work, self-love work that I've done and all this stuff, and how confident I am, it was just like, I don't know, it was just like things were getting torn down, veils were being revealed. And that's really the last 3 years of my life. I mean, it is just such a total identity shift and change. Okay, well, so then in those extreme moments, last fall, August, September, one of the most like, oh my God, I've got to do something right now, like waving the white flag moments, was when I started having like catastrophizing anxiety, which I feel really grateful. I am a pretty resilient person, thanks to a lot of shit that's happened in my life. It's a little bit of a trauma response, but I just am really someone that has been very, very resilient in many ways, and therefore haven't had a lot of like crippling anxiety and or depression. And so when I feel it, and I so feel for those who experience this on the regular a lot more than me. But I started having catastrophizing anxiety, which, I mean, I'm someone that can travel anywhere, do anything, like get up and go. And the way I was experiencing this was this feeling like I just didn't even match it up. I couldn't even match it up, because I was aware of how illogical it was, but it was little things like feeling afraid to just get in the car and go somewhere. Even though I was like, I'm not afraid of that. Like, this whole other side of me is just like, no, that's fine. I know I can do it. It's like, logically, I know it's possible and I'll be fine. But in my body, I would feel this like terror, catastrophizing anxiety is the best word and description for it, because it just felt like it was taking over my whole body. that is when I knew, when I got to that point, because it was really threatening to affect my life in really big ways. I was like, something is really off here. And I mean, the last 3 years have been quite a ride for me. For those of you who've been following my story, I basically have been traveling full time, left America, traveling full time with no base, traveling like crazy, and then also writing, editing, publishing a book in that time. And I had set down a lot of my business and kind of my life. I would just like went into a cave. And meanwhile, the layers of all this, right? The layers of perimenopause and the layers of writing the book, the layers of traveling, all these things on my own, and all those pieces, they just kind of add up, right? So that was the moment, though, that I was like, this is urgent. My supplement is clearly not working anymore, and I have really got to find a solution for this. And I was in Australia at the time. I did a lot of traveling back and forth between Thailand and Australia last year, and thankfully, I just basically researched for anyone who knows about this, and I found a clinic really close to me where I was in Brisbane. And this woman, it was I have to share a really funny part about this, because when I called the clinic, I remember they said something like, have you been tested, or something like that. And this is like such a perimenopause rage thing that you can relate to if you've been there. But I remember just being like, I didn't say this, but feeling this in my body, being like, I don't need any fucking tests. I know that this is what I need. I just was like, wow, like help. Like I need help. Like I was at this just breaking point. So thankfully, I was able to get on estrogen at that moment. We didn't even do any detailed tests. She just was so awesome and so supportive. And she was like, yeah, let's just get you on estrogen right away, and then we can have a follow-up, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to, I moved to Chiang Mai, found an amazing doctor here who ran all my blood tests, and just were able to actually see what the levels looked like. Once I had been on estrogen for a little while, we actually had to up my estrogen. It's been a whole journey. I see her every 6 weeks, and we do new tests. And now, just to share, my like special concoction is and so different from literally 6 months ago when I had just been on that supplement. Now I am on estrogen, progesterone, and a little bit of testosterone, and not to mention D3, collagen, magnesium, B12, is that what it's called? I just have like added all of these, and I'm taking my omegas. I'm like just so much healthier because I'm able to have like a home with all of my stuff, and this routine that I can have it like so locked and dialed in every single day, and a doctor that I can visit regularly and like really go into it. And also little things like I have a Mirena IUD, so we didn't even think that I needed the progesterone, but actually thanks to the tests and the levels, she was like, actually sometimes the Mirena just isn't giving it to you. And I want to add a really important piece here for any of you who have experienced this, but one of the major symptoms that I was having is, I have to check the time because I have to go to the airport here pretty soon. One of the major symptoms that I was having, and a lot of people have in perimenopause, there's a whole long list, and I can maybe even share a link in the comments or in the description here so that you can see. But everyone has a different set. Like I have a girlfriend who she has a whole different set of her symptoms that I never had, and she's never had some of mine. So it just shows up so differently for everybody. But Mirena IUD, what was the thing I was going to tell you? Progesterone. Oh, one of the major symptoms I was having, there's a side effect of perimenopause, not being able to keep your train of thought, is joint pain and aches. And when I first actually got on estrogen in the first few months, I was like, isn't this supposed to be helping me feel better? Like in my body, it's so good for your brain and your bones and all these things. And, but I was feeling some really major joint pain and like stiffness. Like literally when I got up off of the couch or out of a chair, I'd be like, I'm like an old lady, like so stiff and so sore. And it started getting to be the point that I was feeling like one would, which thankfully I have not experienced, and I feel for those of you who have, but I started feeling like I was having like a chronic pain every single day. Like it felt like that, where I was like, I'm experiencing pain every single day just trying to move in my own body. What the heck, right? And the doctor didn't necessarily say this, but this is definitely a known thing. First of all, it can be a histamine reaction. I've never really taken prescription drugs, so my body might have been like just trying to assimilate to taking a drug and like how that works in my body with inflammation, who knows what. But also progesterone, there can be a thing where if you aren't having enough progesterone with your estrogen, not a doctor, but this is what I've learned, is that it can be called something like undefended or something like that, where there's just that imbalance, and that's enough to create like that stress. So we got me on progesterone. Then she did the test for testosterone. We just kind of like started there. She's so good. We started there, and then she did the test for testosterone, and that was also low. And I am telling you, when I got on that, and it's just a little tiny bit, but a lot of women need it, a lot of men need it as well, especially as we get older. That felt like, I mean, I was so much better after getting estrogen. And then the progesterone was like, it was okay. I think it definitely started helping with the joint pain a little bit more, but I'm telling you, the testosterone, somehow that was such a game changer. It's like, it was the magic key that pulled it all together, that I have felt so good. I feel like I've felt like myself again, because now I have this sort of magic combination. And I mean, we don't know if it's going to last. Like, things change. The truth of the matter is, in all of this, with everything that you're taking, is you, yes, can look at the blood tests, you can look at the results, but you also need to be checking back in with your body and how you're feeling. And so it's a little bit of both, right? Like if the doctor says like, oh, I've given you everything and everything looks fine, but you're still not feeling good, you need to keep looking, right? So I just feel so grateful that now I'm at this place that I actually am like, oh my God, I feel like it's dialed. So when I say on the other side, that is what I mean by on the other side, just that I feel like myself again. I feel like I have energy again. I feel like I don't know, I just feel like myself again. That's like the best way to put it. And I know that those of you out there will relate with that. And regarding the joint pain, obviously, like sometimes if I've sat for a long time and I get up, I can feel it. But it is light years better. I mean, there was a while where I was just like, I had like so much pain when I was like laying in bed, sleeping, or just all this stuff. I could just feel it every single day in my body. Now I just notice I don't even think about it. I don't even think about it. I had that moment the other day where I was like, oh my God, maybe because I got up and I felt it a little bit just from sitting too long or whatever. But I was like, wow, I haven't actually felt that in a while. And there was a time where I was feeling it every single day. And then I actually chatted with one of my really good friends who's a few years older than me, and she is like officially on the other side, I think fully in menopause now. And I was telling her how I remember her telling me about this joint pain, and she goes, I loved this. She was like, she kind of did the same thing that I just said, where she was like, oh yeah, she's like, I totally forgot about that. And when you're in it, it's just so acute and it's affecting every aspect of your life so much. And then when you're on the other side, I mean, this is right, like all we have is our health, and we just feel so grateful when we're healthy. And you never feel that like praying for your health more when you're not feeling good. And so I loved that, because, and when she told me that, when she said that she was on the other side of it, because at the time I was still kind of in it, I like started crying. I was like, there is going to be another day, because there's this moment that you hit in this whole process of perimenopause where I'm like gonna cry, where you're like, is this it? Is it all downhill from here? Like, am I just gonna feel sore and shitty and tired? And like, you're just like, what the fuck? I'm only 50. Like, is it just gonna be so bad from here on out? So yeah, when she told me that, I was like in tears. I was like, oh my God, there's hope. I can be on the other side of this. I am going to feel better. So for those of you who are feeling in it still, just know that there is hope. And I'm so glad that my generation, our generation, if you're my age, is being so loud about this, because honestly, like, us as women have been so underserved for so long. Most of our mothers never got help in this way, never got on HRT. They just like grin and bear it. Even actually, many of my friends, I just had a friend who commented, she's a few years older than me, and she was in San Francisco, like going to One Medical, to this like women's health expert, and even that person had no clue about it, and she never even got the help that she needed. So it's just so new. We've also had just such a disservice around what HRT is, and the perception around it, because for a long time it was said to be so negative or damaging, and it's just not. In fact, it's like so freaking needed. For the way that my doctor describes it, which I really appreciate, is that she's like, okay, it's almost like you're at this starting line. Obviously the earlier the better that you hit it, and you're on your way to 60. And in these 10 years, the more you can support yourself with, yes, the supplements, but also some of this HRT, beautiful like hormone replacement, and of course like weightlifting, and really just taking care of your body, you're helping your longevity basically for 60 and beyond. I mean, you can help it like 5-10-fold. And it's just, I'm so grateful. I feel so grateful. I really genuinely wish I had started earlier. But here we are. So I'm so grateful to be here. As I shared in the Instagram video, it's felt really vulnerable to even just admit that I'm turning 50. Like I said, for some reason, I don't know. It's like it makes it real, and it's just such a weird, it's surreal. Like the number is surreal. But whatever, there's like a whole other side of me that's just like, fuck yeah. Like I love aging. I love who I am becoming. I love my relationship with myself. So I really think it's like so beautiful, because you know yourself so well, and you give less fucks. And like just my wisdom, not the least of which is like walking through the fire of this. I genuinely, and I said this in that Instagram video as well, but I'm just like, man, you can't even talk to me until you've gone through this in some way, shape, or form. And I mean, that could be said also, I'm sure, with like grief and having children and everything. It's like, it's just such a journey that teaches you so much about yourself, and going through any really, really intense time. So I have a deep appreciation for it, and just really sending love out there to all of you who are in it, or who have survived and gotten through it to the other side. And thank you for all of your support and love, and everyone who has celebrated with me. And my birthday is June 20th. So if you want to mark it on your calendar, it's coming. All right. Thanks so much. And I hope you have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are.